Welcome to the Weekend Sports Diaries, ladies and gentlemen. Special edition of the show at the Homeless World Cup in Cardiff. And we're here with Team Zimbabwe manager, Joe Kuseka. Joe, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a bit about the Homeless World Cup. A lot of people hear homeless before World Cup and they wonder what's going on. Can you just tell us about this event that you're in Cardiff?
The Homeless World Cup is a social movement that uses the power of football to bring together people who are living on the streets and those who are socially excluded and marginalized, so that they come for a week-long event whereby they get to play football and they get to mix and interact, thereby they transform their lives using the sport of football. So this movement is not like your commercial sport whereby people are really after the scoreline, but it's mostly about the transformation and the change that you bring into people's lives, those who are socially excluded and marginalized, and those who are living on the streets, those who are who are suffering from drug and substance abuse. So this is a reformative tournament which tries and seeks to empower people so that they are energized using football.
So when we say homeless, it's not really in the literal sense of homeless. There's a wider definition to the word homeless.
Yes, there is a broad definition to the word homeless. We are not just looking at those who are living on the street. You're looking at people who are coming from very marginalized and vulnerable backgrounds. There are certain people who are living in hostels. There are certain people who are living in places where there is rampant drug abuse and substance abuse. So people who are in those areas will not have an opportunity or are not afforded an opportunity for them to actually make it in this world. So this Homeless World Cup also helps people who are living in poverty. You try to reform them, to change them, to make opportunities available for them to transform their lives, and then they can help themselves from the situation that they find themselves in.
Looking at your team, you had a couple of ladies in the team. You had a disabled guy in the team as well as able-bodied guys. Is that maybe a definition of what you guys are trying to do, bringing different types of people from different underprivileged or maybe socially exclusive societies?
Yes, definitely. That's part of the movement and the part of the process. What you see now is that back home in Zimbabwe, you'll find that a lot of young people are not afforded opportunity by virtue of their age, and most of them are not employed, and some of them are coming from child-headed families, so the opportunities are lacking for them. So if not a girl, then they might be disabled. If they're not a girl, maybe they are disabled, or they might have both parents alive, but still the opportunities are not available to young people. You find that with our economy right now, with the way things are right now, the economy is on the turn and the opportunities are still not available for young people, and young people do not have an education, so they do not have chances of getting employed. So for young people now, then they end up being hopeless and they don't have anything to look forward to. So we now then come in with this initiative that we have. We try to give them that exposure. We try to give them that opportunity through the sport. So you don't necessarily need to be a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Lionel Messi, but you just have to come with the desire to transform and change your life. We will do what we do through the sport, then you get that opportunity and you may make it up. You may end up being here in Cardiff and getting the opportunity to play on a global stage. People get to hear your story, and from there the world is now open to you. You can now become what you want to become. Because basically the Homeless World Cup is not about the scoreline. It's about that desire for one to actually transform and change their life. So we had a guy who is disabled, Kurakwashe Mapira. Over the week he inspired a lot of people. His story went across the world. People heard his background. They heard about the difficulties, the challenges that he faced. And now the world is now much more open and more receptive to people with a disability. We just hope that from this tournament, people with disability are also going to be accepted in the other teams in Zimbabwe.
So using that example of Kudas as an example, is it maybe something that you take more from this tournament in Cardiff, more than the position that you finished in or the trophies? Is it the story of Kuda and how maybe disabled guys can get more opportunities in wider society?
It was never about the scoreline. It was never about the position that we're going to finish. Though you needed to motivate the players for them to also feel that they're playing for something. But for us, it's not just Kuda's story. It's the entire team. Each and every one of them has a unique story that needs to be told out there. Some might not have had the opportunity to share the story with the world, but we believe that their story is so unique and that their stories are going to inspire other young people from the various communities that they come from. Others are coming from mining communities, others are coming from farming communities, others are coming from places that you've never heard of. But then when they go back home, they'll tell people that I was in Cardiff for a week. This is what I experienced. They're going to share the stories with other people. Other people are also going to be inspired. And that's the ripple effects, and that's what we are hoping in, that's what we're going for.
With and as much as good job you guys are doing with this project, is there any support you get, or maybe funding you get from the sporting body? You're a football team, obviously. Do you get any funding from the sporting maybe administration, sporting ministry, ZIFA? Are you affiliated with any of those sporting bodies?
We are registered under the Sports and Recreation Commission in Zimbabwe, which is the sports governing arm of the government in Zimbabwe. They are aware of the work that we're doing. They offer technical support when they can, but they have never supported us financially in this venture that we have undertaken. We are always open to corporates coming through to also support this initiative, because basically it's not really about the scoreline as people would want to put it. It's about the transformation and the reformation that's happening in the lives of the participants themselves. So we always have our doors open to those who want to come on board to support this initiative. We know there are a lot of corporates who are willing to support sport in Zimbabwe. We urge them to give it a try and just support the Homeless World Cup team. You never know, you're actually transforming and reforming someone's life. They will never be different from such an experience after taking part in such an experience.